All right, Miles, let's talk about the Miami Dolphins here for a little bit. This is, of course, a team. They're guaranteed to set up to be competitive now. They've got a great roster, offense, defense, special teams. They got the right coach. The division is brutally competitive, but they've got more talent, arguably, than anybody in that division. But everyone knows the Dolphins are going to go how Tua goes. That's just the way the way the situation is for Miami right now. And we've got not one, but two reports that highlight how special Tua is. I feel like we do these news segments every few months talking about how great Tua is, but we found more evidence that shows how special this young quarterback is and how Dolphins fans should potentially be even more excited than they already were.
Yeah, Nick, but not only is he special, he's kind of underrated because we know how good Tua is. The Dolphins fans know how good Tua is. You ask anyone, especially around the division, in the AFC, not that many people are as high on Tua as we are. And he's very underrated. Probably one of the most underrated Dolphins I've ever heard of. But I want to ask the fans in the comment section below today, if not Tua, then who is the most underrated Dolphins player of all time? A guy who kind of like slipped through the cracks, but was very, very solid, really great player. Let us know in the comments below who is your most underrated Dolphins player. But Nick, I always love to hear how good Tua is doing. So let's get on into it. Tell me what he has done lately.
All right, so the first thing we found this on Twitter, some really interesting research some other people did that we want to highlight to show how special Tua is. And this first thing we want to focus on are the three aspects of quarterback play in today's day and age that I think really matter. And when it comes to the course of the entire season, it's how bad are you when things get bad? Like, if you're having a bad game, how many of those do you have? If you're having a great game, how many of those do you have, right? Your highest highs, your lowest lows. How often do you stay on each side of that coin there? And most importantly, how good are you on third down? Those are the three, I think, most defining characteristics of quarterback play and potentially championship quarterback play in the NFL. And this is a tweet we found from The Real False Prophet on Twitter. So this is a guy who did some good research here. If you want to go ahead and throw it up, Mize, we're going to start with the first thing, the lowest of lows. So if you look at the games with quarterback ratings under 30, only Jalen Hurts has a lower percentage than Tua, 4 games out of 15 starts. Tua had 4 out of 13 starts for the fewest percentage games under a quarterback rating of 90. You look at the names around it. Patrick Mahomes had 6. Joe Burrow had 5. Josh Allen had 7. So there you go. You got Tua outdueling pretty much everybody except for Jalen Hurts. It's good competition. But if you look at the games over 120, Tua takes the cake there. 5 out of 13. Smokes Jalen Hurts, smokes Patrick Mahomes, smokes Joe Burrow, smokes Josh Allen. Again, that's very good company again, and he beats him out of the water there. So his lowest of lows are right about where Jalen Hurts is, a little bit behind, but basically the same. And his highest of highs are better than everybody's. And how about on third down? His quarterback rating, you ready for this? This is staggering. This is ridiculous. This is 130.1. Joe Burrow is next, 112.2. Patrick Mahomes, 105.8. Josh Allen, 94.9. Jalen Hurts, 93. So those other 4 guys are MVP guys, are phenomenal guys. Patrick Mahomes is going to be in Hall of Fame one day. 130.1 passer rating is redunculous. It's insane. It should not happen. That's almost a statistical anomaly. But that's how good Tua was. And that's how efficient and explosive this offense is with Tua. Because one of the things to understand about passer rating, and it has all facets. It has touchdown passes, interceptions, yards per passing attempt, completion percentage. It has all those factors into it. So it's not just converting the third downs. It's how many of those third downs were big plays and potentially touchdowns. That's what really drives up the passer rating. That shows what separates Tua from the rest of the pack. That's an unbelievable stat. But we're not done there yet, Mize. That's just focusing on last season and his competition among his peers. And it looks like Tua, and what really matters, is just as good, if not better, amongst his peers. But Tua is actually historically great, especially when you look at the context of where he is in his career versus other all-time greats. And this is from Omar Kelly, really noted this on Twitter, and he posted this. He pulled this data from Pro Football Reference, Mize, if you want to go throw it up. But the interesting thing about Tua is he led the NFL in pass rating last season. He's the youngest guy to do it that is anybody on this list. I think this list goes back to the Peyton Manning days of the early 2000s. There is no one even remotely close to Tua's age of 24 last season compared to the other guys who led the league in passer. And you got Aaron Rodgers in his 30s, Drew Brees, Alex Smith, Matt Ryan. Russell Wilson is close, but that was kind of a weird team. That was a Seahawks, they were running team. Then you have to go look at Tony Romo. The only one who was even remotely close was Nick Foles, but that was kind of a fluky team with the Philadelphia Eagles that season as well. So if you look at the rest of these guys here, the all-time great guys, they're in their 30s, their late 20s, things like that. Tua is the youngest guy, or right at the youngest guy, to ever lead the league in passer rating. That's a really hard thing to do because especially as you get older and more experienced in the NFL, you usually tend to take care of the football better. You become more efficient. That drives the passer rating up. To me, that's a sign that as good as Tua was last year, like the prior tweet, he has a potential to be even better in 2023, and that should make Dolphins fans excited. All right, Miles, I'm going to throw it over to you here in a second. But before I get your thoughts on this, Everyone, make sure you stay tuned to the end of today's video to hear a word from our partner, and that, of course, is Neuro. Neuro has a lot of great products that give you a fast and easy boost of energy. We love to take their gums or their mints right before the show. It gives us a spike of energy we need to produce this Dolphins content. So make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video to learn more about Neuro. And here's the most important part: to get access to our special discount code. Brian, that's enough from me. What are your thoughts on Tua and the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah, Nick, one caveat here before we get into it here. People be like, oh, Nick Foles 24. He only played 10 games that season. So it like I said, he did lead the league in passer rating, kind of asterisk by it, I would say. He didn't really play a full season as a starter, really. So I thought that was something worth noting. But like you said, Tua is special, man. He is very, very good. We're trying to, we're talking about Super Bowl winning quarterback Nick Foles as the closest guy to him at a young age. One of his best seasons, probably his best season ever he played football. And, Tua is that guy. Tua is like that all the time. He's amongst the all-time greats already in a lot of statistics. I think that this guy can be very special, and I think he wants to be that way because we show he puts in the work. He's working on injuries, doing all the crazy stuff, whether he's doing jiu-jitsu or whatever to try to help concussions, learn how to fall, do all of those kind of things. Tua is a guy who's going to come out here and do what needs to be done, and then it shows. The proof is in the pudding, Nick. We look at his statistics. He puts in the work at the hardest possible things. He wants to have the highest highs, but he wants to not get the lows that low. He wants to have a very high floor and also a high ceiling. So this guy is, an anomaly. We've never seen really anyone who's been quite as interesting as Tua in the last decade or so in the NFL. But I think that Tua has the potential, Nick, to be an MVP caliber quarterback this season. He has got all of the tools. He's got all the weapons now. He is a good O-line around him. There's a lot of key players there. He's got the weapons on offense, and now he has an absolutely potent defense to back him up. One thing that was kind of an issue a little bit last year, the secondary had a few holes in it. This defensive line wasn't even quite as good it was with the addition of guys like Chubb, the guys like Jalen Ramsey. This team looks really special, and I think having a guy like Tua back there, who we've shown time and time again, has the statistics. He has the numbers to back up how qualified and how good he is. This is going to be a special season for the Dolphins. I think if everyone stays on the field, they're going to be turning a lot of heads just like they did at the beginning part of last year.
All right, Miles, we would like to give a special thanks to our partner today's video, Neuro.
That's right, Nick. And I want you to go with me on a journey really fast. I want you to imagine this. It's 4th and goal in the big game, Nick. Your team is relying on you to make the big-time game-winning play. I know you've been in this situation before, Nick. The stadium is roaring. The clock is ticking. The game is on the line. But if only in that moment you were able to have some Neuro Gum. Neuro Gum will help you stay concentrated, and it gives you a burst of energy without a nasty crash.
That's right, Miles. Neuro has thoughtfully curated ingredients and does endless lab testing, which means that you can reach the right state of mind safely and consistently. That's the most important part. It gives you a clean burst of energy and focus without the jitters of coffee or any of those other energy drinks.
That's right, Nick. And if you click our sponsor link in the description below, you can enjoy energy, calm, and focus whenever you need it.